South Carolina is one of 2 U.S. states without a hate crime law.
And that's why Myrtle Beach leaders now are taking matters into their own hands as they discuss their own resolution. Well, today, city council members will take up the first reading of a hate intimidation ordinance. So if approved, it would add up to 30 days in jail, fines of $500 for anybody convicted of a bias-based crime. Conway and Florence have already passed a hate crimes resolution. Well, this discussion comes as a couple in Myrtle Beach in the area there now facing intimidation charges and possibly eviction. They're accused of burning a cross in their lawn to try to intimidate their black neighbors. And those neighbors, who are from Charlotte, are pushing state leaders to enact a bill that sets penalties for hate crimes. So let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Clive Rhodes to this conversation. So how big of an impact would this be if this were to pass?
The ordinance itself? I mean, it would be a significant step. I mean, this is trying to make sure that South Carolina doesn't continue its race to the bottom. I mean, you talked about it in the open. South Carolina and Wyoming, the only 2 states in the country that don't have a statewide hate crime bill. And so then you have these one-off counties that are passing resolutions. Horry County specifically, where Myrtle Beach is at, pass a resolution. Myrtle Beach is now passing a resolution. Now having this ordinance will say, listen, we have folks across our state that want to ensure that we have protections, additional protections to stop. This is a deterrence to hate crimes to show, listen, you have this crime that's occurred, but also it has a hate bias. It's based on race, sex, sexual orientation. There should be an additional punishment to ensure that these types of crimes don't occur. That's why you have it on a national level. That's why most other states overwhelmingly have it. South Carolina is just dragging behind. In the state legislature, it seems like there's no intention of them passing anything like that on the statewide level at all. So I do think it will be a deterrent on the ordinance side, on the local level, but does it have a greater impact to causing the state to do it? I don't think so, not anytime soon, unless you see some other folks being elected to the State House of South Carolina.
If this were to pass, though, taking a look back at what we mentioned with the Charlotte couple, would the neighbors face any repercussions, or would that be something that what's been done has already been done and they can only be charged if they did that while this was enacted? Great
question. Typically, retroactively affecting someone else's actions for a newly passed law doesn't happen, or an ordinance, I should say, in this state, in this instance. So I don't see them having any additional consequences on the state level or on the local level. But again, that case could be picked up on the national level. And so then you'd have the federal government, the Department of Justice, coming in and saying these couple should have some heightened type of charges on the federal side. But in terms of looking backwards, as a criminal defense attorney, I would not be in favor of any type of law, statute, or ordinance coming in having a retroactive effect on my clients.
How would that get picked up nationally? You said nationally?
Yes, I mean, what would happen is in a state like South Carolina, because they don't have any statewide hate crimes, if that crime is determined to be one that was based on hate, burning a cross in their yard, then the federal government would then come in and say, you know what, now we're going to add an additional hate crime. And you see that on a number of situations, specifically the shooter in the AME.
2015 in Charleston, and that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, that's what this always takes me back to, especially from covering so much of South Carolina politics and where we are with this hate crime bill and legislation. Do you think anything is ever going to happen in South Carolina?
I mean, you would think they would be the state that would be ripe for something like that to happen. Again, not pointing back to that to reiterate it again, but having been the scene of one of the most horrific type of shootings in our country's history on a church grounds that was specifically based on race, you would think South Carolina would have instantly moved to pass something to at least align themselves with the rest of the country, especially even if no other state had it.
You have 9 parishioners who died that day. And you also had the Confederate flag that came down in South Carolina around that time.
All that stuff was retroactive,
that happened from, that crime itself. So it's good to be able to get your insight, colleague.
You'd think that cooler heads would have prevailed and someone would have been smart enough to say we should jump on board, but obviously they haven't. And I'm not sure why. There's no logic behind why.
Well, what's the argument on the other side as to why it's not?
I haven't heard an argument. I mean, it's been something that's been pushed forward a number of times, and then it's just, I think the argument, and I will say, because we got to wrap this quickly, that they're just worried about folks making comments, say in church, about maybe a transgender individual.
Okay.
And then
Where
the
do you draw the
repercussions
line?
could be that because you've made a comment, now you could be charged. That's the only argument that I have heard.
Big gray area, it sounds like. Khalif, thanks.